The floor turns 120 degrees and the door opens. You go through the door to find another room. It's just the same size as the other one you just wasted all that time in, while a clock was ticking down to something which may or may not be your doom, which is something. Maybe there is something in here that will help you escape. Against the wall, there's another perplexing contraption. Against the opposite wall is some sort of control panel which catches your eye. It has two large screens, but only one appears to be active. There are fields for numbers which appear to be modifiable with the dials to your right. Some numbers are already supplied by default, perhaps entered by the previous user. There are a few buttons below, the largest one bearing the symbol marking this room. It also looks like there is a meter stick propped up there for some reason or other. Attach your trusty knife to the meter stick. You immediately craft a measuring spear through, though possibly the most advanced form of alchemy developed thus far. This is obviously the most important thing to do first. Obviously. Or would it obviously be the most important to do? Or it would be obviously the most important thing to do if you had remembered to bring your trusty knife. You feel so insecure without your trusty knife. It makes you want to slit all your wrists, or at the very least, flog your carapace with some sort of measuring apparatus. Look at the other wall. You examine the perplexing contraption across the room. You, of course, have no idea what it could possibly do. You adopt the only obvious course of action, which is to poke and prod it with your handy ruler. You are quite sure this is what science is all about. Press the triangle pattern. You go back to the control panel, which obviously controls the gizmo that you just were at, and you push the big blue button, which is probably the most obvious thing to push. You purify a pumpkin. Examine the pumpkin. It seems this mysterious gourd was purified from a specific time and location somewhere on this planet you are on. You wonder if the machine, a purifier, will take any object that exists at whatever time and location you supply. There is a symbol carved onto the pumpkin. You don't know what it means, and you doubt it will ever prove to be relevant in any way. Devour the pumpkin. Nibble. You consider dining on the ripe flesh of the plump vegetable, but your curiosity about the purifier gets the better of you. You try to sneak a little nibble from the pumpkin nonetheless. Inspect the green buttons. You first examine the attractive green buttons. The icon for the first one on the left is the house shape you've seen plenty of times before. The right one is closer inspection appears to be the map for this underground facility, with an X marking its center. Press the green button on the right. You push the button. All of the numbers change. Perhaps these are coordinates for the location of the center of this facility, along with the local site, date, and time. If this is the case, it would make a useful reference point for your current bearings. Fiddle with the dials. One way to find out would be to attempt to purify something from this facility. It should be easy to zero in on location relative to the center because you have an uncanny knack for tracking precise distances you have already traversed. In whatever units you choose, your handy ruler gives you a good clue as to the basic unit of human measurement. You will go with that. Purify your trusty knife. You nudge the coordinates very slightly and bump up the elevation by 0.5 human measurement units. You make sure to keep the time approximately what it was to begin with. You purify your trusty knife. Purify Cantown. You nudge the numbers a bit more and purify a bunch of cans. This is so much more efficient than walking back and forth to the other room to get them. You are to believe that time is at a premium, after all. Depurify the pumpkin. Does this machine look like a depurifier to you? Honestly, the idea that a purifier would both purify and depurify things is so laughably ridiculous. You would wish someone would depurify your brain and reapurify it with a brain that is more smart and less dumb. Use trusty knife to carve spooky schema into pumpkin. What the hell are you talking about? That idea makes no sense at all and is basically meaningless. Trying to use that mushy stuff in your gourd next time. Instead, you just carve off the top, exposing a decent cache of gorgeous, seed-laden ambrosia. Needless to say, you consume all of it rather quickly, but it turns out to be too gross for us to watch. Move spirograph switch. You cannot move it. It has a spirograph-shaped indentation, and possibly will require a special kind of key to turn it. A purify firefly out of amber. Yes. A perfectly reasonable use of our time. You release your blinky new friend. You will give her a name when something suitably whimsical occurs to you. Adjust time dial to purify rotten pumpkin. The past. You and Serenity consider new ways to waste more time with the purifier. You are assuming she is a girl, a firefly, even though you are not really sure that fireflies can even be girls. You target the extremely tasty rotten pumpkin that was sitting in your other room hours ago. It seems a purifier cannot purify something if it would create a time paradox. A gelatinous ghost pumpkin purifies and quickly dissolves into a pile of unappetizing sludge. Purify the grate over the entrance to the facility. Serenity blinks a message of urgency. You nearly forgot that while trapped in amber, she was witness to all of your tomfoolery and dilly-dallying in the other room, and knows the timer is about to expire. It is time to get the show on the road and escape. You reset the coordinates with the right green button again, and this time only adjust the elevation. Okay. Units by approximately 10 human measurement units. Wayward vagabond, hasten to the exit post-haste. Yes, we shall fill the pumpkin with all of our cans. Is this really necessary? This is incredibly silly. Psych! Oh, wait. Unpsych. You attempt the rare and highly dangerous 5 times cliffhanger combo and fail. We are doing it, man. We are making this happen. Wayward vagabond, abscond. Oh, you just got blue sky high, boo. You were not fast enough. You are now rocket shipping to wherever this rocket shipping is going. A continent westward. And years in the past, but not many. Excuse me. No, well. An ocean westward and years in the past, but not many. Frogs! They are trick handcuffs. Ha ha! Did you get all that? I certainly didn't. I'm sure this will all be important later. End of Act 2. Dear John, Colonel Sassacre's daunting text of magical frivolity and practical chapery. The Colonel amuses men marginally less soused than a sweltering Mississippi evening. In true Sassacre form, he puts an astonishing julep intake to use with the textbook execution of Butterfinger's Solitaire. Dear John, you are no doubt reading this as a handsome and strapping young man. Why? The manhood needed to fish the book itself is a sign of your maturity. Not even to speak of the wisdom needed to grasp the nuance of Japers and Sassacre's fine text mischief. I am so proud of you, grandson. Oh, wait. I'm dumb. I should have just scrolled down. To be fair, most of the time, the rest of the time in this thing, they have put the text in the image, and they have not put the text underneath of the image. All right, cool. Dear John, you are no doubt reading this as a handsome and strapping young man. Why, the man grit needed to lift the book is itself a sign of your maturity, not even to speak of the wisdom needed to grasp the nuance of Sassacre's time-tested mischief. I am so proud of you, grandson. However, I wish I could have delivered this heirloom to you in the flesh. But I am afraid it wasn't in the cards, for you see, John, like you, this book must yet take a journey. Its journey will end on the final day of my life, and even then will continue some. Though I suppose that will be up to your father. Perhaps he will discuss it with you one day, when he and you are ready. But it is your journey I am writing about, to wish you luck. There will come a day when you will be thrust into another world, and once you arrive, that is only the beginning. You will soon delve even deeper into a realm of warring royalty in a timeless expanse, a realm of agents and exiles and consorts and colonel sprites, of toiling underlings and slumbering denizens, a realm where four will gather, the heir of breath and the seer of light, the knight of time and the witch of space, and together they will ascend. John, if only you knew how important you were. I regret my passing came so early in your life, and yet I feel in my heart we have already met. But what I know for sure is that we will meet again. Until then, John, I do hope your father keeps you well fed. With love, Nana. P.S. On to Act 3. A silly girl naps by her flowers. It is quite likely that she tired herself up with a variety of silly antics, as silly girls are often known to do. She may have a silly name, too, or maybe not. It is hard to say for sure without asking her. But since she is slumbering so peacefully, it would be a shame to wake her up. You might as well just give her a name right now. Enter name. Farmstink Buttlass. I guess her name is Farmstink? You try to rouse Farmstink from her slumber, but she really is down for the count. It looks like she is holding some sort of note. Retrieve arms from... They're right there, in plain sight. Look, they're flashing in red now. Drop pumpkin on Farmstink. What pumpkin? You see no pumpkins. And frankly, it is hard to imagine there ever was a pumpkin, in plain sight or otherwise. Anyway, that would be a really terrible thing to do to poor sweet Farmstink. Read the note. Farmstink, that is incredibly silly and just a little bit rude. My name is... Try again. Jade Harley. Examine room. Your name is Jade. You have just woken from a restful nap, and as usual, you have no recollection of having fallen asleep. You have quite a number of interests, so many, in fact, that you have trouble keeping track of them all, even with an assortment of colorful reminders on your fingers to help you sort out everything in your mind. Nevertheless, when you spend time in your garden atrium, the only thing in your mind is your deep passion for horticulture. What will you do? Jade, play a silly flute refrain. There, she fell asleep again. Wow! You really suck at this thing. Maybe you should try playing an instrument you actually know how to play instead, like the one in your bedroom. Honestly, you have no idea where this flute even came from. Things just seem to appear and disappear around here all of the time, especially to your unyielding chagrin, any sort of large orange gourds that might be lying around. You consider throwing down the flute in disgust. Capsulog the flute. On second thought, it is a perfectly nice flute, and there is no reason to take out your frustration on it. You just need some practice. But before you capsulog the flute, you must set your fetch modus first. Jade, set modus. Roll over above with the mouse. You have Pictionary, Monopoly, Yahtzee, Clue, Connect 4, Jenga, Battleship, Ouija, Guess Who, Operation, and Memory. You have a wide variety of fetch modi to choose from. You were really excited when your grandpa brought home this Moda set for Christmas. He is a total badass, even if he is a little strict. You typically opt for the memory modus when it comes to matter-of-fact day-to-day practicality. Select memory. You set your modus to memory and capture log the flute. You allot 9 cards to the modus from your deck, since that will be more than enough for your needs at the moment. The modus grabs 9 more cards for matching purposes. The flute is split on the back of 2 blank cards and mixed randomly into the grid. To retrieve the item, you must first pick 1 card and then pick its matching card. For the typical Silodexer, this modus presents a frustrating guessing game and a lot of wasted time on mismatching. But you like it because you always seem to have a knack for always guessing right on the first try. Jade, squeal like a piglet and fertilize some plants. It is an awfully silly idea and is basically a waste of everyone's time. You will predictably disregard this thought and focus more on more sensible objectives at once. Oh my god, this is so much fun! You capture log the bag of fertilizer. Consult colorful reminders. You tend to have a lot of things on your mind at once, and you can be a little forgetful, so you keep a variety of colored strings on your fingers as reminders. Each one means there is something different to remember at a certain time. In fact, looking at your index finger reminds you that there is something important to remember right now. It is your friend John's birthday. The green string reminds you that John's birthday package will arrive today. The blue string also reminds you that John's birthday package will arrive today, though in a way that means something slightly different. You are further reminded that you have some things to do outside your house soon, but you should stop by your room first to get some supplies, and most importantly, to see if John is online and wish him a happy birthday. Capture log pumpkin growing next to you. You snap up that pumpkin which seems suitably ripe for the taking. Hopefully the safety of your Silodex will prevent it from being spirited away like so many of its ephemeral predecessors. Exit the room. You have so many strange flowers. They are all very gate-like. You make your way to the middle of the garden atrium, where a stairwell joins the 4 atrium wings. Upstairs is your grandfather's laboratory, as well as your bedroom. Why is there oil splattered onto the window? Jade! Capture log something. Your memory modus is hardly any fun without much stuff in it, so you decide to stock up on some fresh produce to fill more cards. You pick up a juicy red crab apple. You pick up a nice looking key lime. And then a delicious mandarin orange. Those are your favorites. And finally a ripe yellow eureka lemon. Modus fun aside, you feel it is impossible to have too many fresh fruits and vegetables on hand. Jade, go upstairs to bedroom. You almost never use the stairs. You transportalize upstairs. Just above is your room. Jade, ascend. You enter your bedroom. On this side of the room, you are immediately confronted with numerous artifacts highlighting your various interests. Wow, okay. Anyway. You are an avid follower of cartoon shows of considerable nostalgic appeal. You have a profound zeal for marvelous and fantastical fauna of an anthropomorphological persuasion. You have an uncanny knack for nuclear physics, and not infrequently can be found dabbling in rather advanced gadgetry. You find and enjoy sporadic fits of narcolepsy. Your love of gardening transcends the glass confines of your atrium, and you are times prone to patterns of precognitive procrastination. You consider very briefly the question, what will you do? But you quickly realize that this is only one half of your room, and is therefore host to only half of your interests to choose from. Explore the other half of your room. Over here, there are yet more artifacts of your aforementioned interests, and then some. Additional telltale signs of your enthusiasm for nostalgic television mingle with your assortment of game hunting firearms. You are a skilled markswoman, though your crosshairs would never settle on an innocent creature. Anthropomorphologically persuaded or otherwise. Your work table is littered with equipment to facilitate your tinkering. For you, experimentation is not particularly an exact science, and you lean heavily on sharp intuition for consistently and eerily optimal results. Nonetheless, you have still not been able to get that bored, flat gizmo there to work, which a design you have borrowed from one of your grandpa's more mysterious inventions. You are a great admirer of his, and you are not alone. Your grandfather is a world-renowned explorer, naturalist, treasure hunter, archaeologist, science adventurer, big game hunter, billionaire extraordinaire. He has taught you everything you know. But in spite of all his lessons, it is still difficult to escape his stern lectures when you are on the way out of the house to run your errands. He spends most of his time in the grand foyer, stewing his own intensity and charisma. And today will likely be no exception. Among the errands you have planned is to venture out to find your pet and best friend named Beckwhirl. This animal must be fed, and he will not be happy if he is not. And if he is not happy, then you will not be happy. But first, you really should dig out your computer and say hi to John. Now, what will you do? Quickly retrieve a firearm from the wall. You equip your trusty hunting rifle. There will be hell to pay if Granddad caught you leaving the house without it. Wonder why the design on your shirt changed? There isn't much to wonder, really. You left your wardrobe afire on its randomization setting. You may contemplate what shirt design you favor the most and commit to that setting on the near future. Jade, capture lug nearest Squiddle's doll and hug it. Just before you can grab one, the powerful electromagnets concealed in their underbellies become activated, and two of them get all tangled up with each other playfully. Tangle buddies! You capture log the Tangle Buddies. Jade, lose interest in fauna and never speak of it again. Oh, but you could never do that. What marvelous creatures they are. What a daring dream to combine the finest qualities of humanity with the elegance and nobility of the animal kingdom. How you wish you could know the world. To hear one night those muted paw pads trapeze up your stairs. A low but friendly growl unsettles your slumber, and the soper seeps from your eyes, and as they detect in sharp pairs of ears cutting the moonlight, a mysterious woven tongue invites. Wouldn't these ears suit you? Would not this proud long snoot assist you in the hunt? No need to answer. Words slow from the busy mind like a useless dead membrane as a more visceral sapience takes over. Something simpler is in charge now. A force untouched by the concern and burdens of the upright. That farcical yoke at the bipedal toe. It now drives you through the midnight brush, your paws whisking through creepers unearthing with each bold stomp bright odors demanding investigation. But not for long, as your new friend must claim the night with a piercing howl onward. You eat a weird bug and you don't even care. Jade, pick up your toys. Speaking of which, you pick up and admire one of your manthro traps. They are wonderful friends and are always cheerful and pleasant fellows. Why, dear Mr. Coxcomb, however will you be received by the barnyard gala without the trappings of a proper gentleman? Each manthro trap comes with a number of accessories, including articles of formal attire, a vaccination kit, and a dishwasher-safe slop throw. A dishwasher-safe slop trow. Okay, nope, that makes a lot more sense, huh? Also, I'm concerned by the fact that those are literally just real needles and a real vaccination jar. But okay. Organize all your dolls. You gather all your dolls into a rather cozy-looking pile. Change wardrobifier setting. You deactivate the wardrobifier's randomization mode and set it to cycle through these 3 specific shirt designs. The decision was tough, but you think you came to the best possible conclusion. Pick Jade's shirt. You can select up to 3 options. Jade, look out the window. It is another beautiful day in your neighborhood. It is peaceful and quiet as usual. A rather imposing volcano looms over your house, which has been inactive for centuries. Though dormant on the surface, the volcanic activity deep underground provides your house with a source of geothermal power. You are not sure why your grandfather decided to draw from its source of energy when he had the unlimited power of the atom at his disposal. But it has been this way for as long as you can remember. You have chalked it up to your family's long-standing propensity for eccentric fursuits. Wait, you mean pursuits? Yes. Jade. Retrieve fursuit from magic chest. What is this nonsense about fursuits? You do not own a fursuit. You think anthropomorphic fauna are really cute and enchanting and all, but it has never occurred to you to dress as one. Sure, it is fun to imagine what it would be like to run wild with a pack of wolves or purr and frolic with a litter of kittens, but dressing as an animal just seems ridiculous. And it would still be just a silly girl draped in a raggedy synthetic tufty piece of crap. And seriously, who are you trying to kid with that sort of baloney? Anyway, it is not a magic chest, it is your gadget chest, which you have adopted for storing a number of useful gizmos. It was once your oracle's trunk, a gift from your grandfather, of course, and still contains many silly fortune-telling knickknacks, all of which are completely bogus. Open the chest. Among the fortune-telling knickknacks are these items: a crystal ball plus compulsory velvet pillow, a tarot deck, a magic 8-ball, a magic cue ball, and one of your favorite books of all time, Problem Sooth. Among the actual useful gizmos, or of course your computer, which you keep inside a fun lunchbox for easy transport, and a couple of gizmos you keep handy so you don't always have to make the long trip to the kitchen. These are a cookalizer for preparing delicious meals, and a refrigerator and a refrigerator, a name which clearly is a wacky variation of the more common household item, the refrigerator. Refrigerator. Yep, okay. Whatever that word is. Anyway, examine Magic 8 Ball and Magic Cue Ball. These things are stupid and useless. When the Magic 8 Ball isn't being frustratingly ambiguous, its forecast is almost always wrong. You have tested it numerous times with certain facts you know to be true. This is its reply when you ask it if your friend John's birthday today. See? Stupid. You guess maybe it could be used as a reverse predicting device and always trust the opposite of what it says, but that seems really dumb to you. And anyway, the thing gives you a bad vibe. You might consider smashing it, but you were a little superstitious about whatever ominous consequences it might have, even if the occult talisman in question is a cheap piece of garbage. Excuse me. But why? The Magic Cue Ball, on the other hand, is said to make predictions with alarming precision and specificity. Unfortunately, it lacks a portal on its surface that allows you to view the prediction. You put both of these pieces of junk back in the box. Jade, capsulog the refrigerator. You take the refrigerator. You might as well grab the cookalizer too. No portable kitchen is complete without it. You take your lunch top too, because obviously you're going to be using that pretty soon. Whoops, there goes your flute, but who cares? Jade, feed your friend. Before you go out to feed Beck, you'll need to prepare a meal for him. You clear some space on your work table so you can set up your refrigerator and your cookalizer. You do so by literally kicking all of it off. Just for fun, Jade allows you to take a stab at matching the cards to use the gizmos. It doesn't present much of a challenge for her, so she figures she might as well step aside while providing a few generous hints. No, warmer, cooler, cold, warmer. Yes, no, cold, ice cold, warmer. Whee! You have selected the key lime. Way to go. Try again. Hot, wait, no, cold, really cold, frozen fucking tundra. Take another crack at this. Congratulations, you advance your matching skill to the new level. Yukon Hero, Legacy of the Frostbitten Amputee. Jade is beginning to regret breaking the fourth wall for this ill-advised escapade. Okay, one more time. If it were known in advance how terrible you were going to be at this matching game, the author may have given a second thought to preparing this cool interactive Flash application. Look at all these fruits on the loose. Good luck trying to settle them all down. You just deployed the gadgets yourself. Jade, stick fruits in the refrigerator to keep them fresh. These fruits are unlikely to become less impudent anytime soon, regardless of where they are stored, but you stick them in anyway. Take a look at the refrigerator's rotary interface. You wonder what he is in the mood for today. Press the steak button. Oh well, it's a rotary dial, so there are no buttons to press, but whatever, that doesn't really matter. You dial up a thick T-bone steak, which you are sure Beckroll is in the mood for because he is in the mood for steak every day and is never in the mood for anything else. But he does like his steak well cooked. Jade lightly irradiates steak. He does prefer his steak rare after all, but You will not dignify the thought of turning the knob much further because you are not retarded. You capture log the irradiated steak and save it for your trip outside. You probably shouldn't wait much more time. You wouldn't want all those nice depleted steak isotopes to settle down. Jade, examine your atomic base by your bed. You wouldn't exactly call it an atomic base, but it is heavily customized to accommodate a high level of musical veracity. The perfect instrument for the electronically spirited. Nope, I'm not even gonna do that. You've tuned the strings way down, of course, because your stumpy arms can't reach the low notes. You switch your electric bass to its advanced setting, but you promptly switch it back since obviously it's too complicated to play in person like this. By default setting your preferred mode for casual jamming. And since you can't possibly waste enough time playing music, casual jam is exactly what you're gonna do. Play a hauntingly relaxing bass line. Hey, now you know why that was important. And that seems like a pretty good place to pause off. So, I'm going to do just that. But first we're going to wait for this parachute to land. Yes, excellent. Anyway, toodaloo.